where you are from, and then number two, what rig you are running. So I want to see that chat starting to blow up. Where are you from? What rig are you running? And again, welcome to everybody that is joining onX Offroad Masterclass Spooky Season Edition, October 17th. All right, let's see. We have some Dallas, Texas. What's up, Dallas? We have Kentucky, Minnesota, Denver. There we go. Start saying hello to one another. Let us know where you're coming in from, what rig you are running. Again, we will get started in just 1 minute. We want to continue to let people funnel in through those digital doors. For anyone who is just joining us, one housekeeping item. I cannot hear you and I cannot see you. So if you have a question regarding any of the content tonight that you might have a double click on, please drop that question into the Q&A, not into this chat where you guys are posting where you're from and the rig that you're running, but in the Q&A. We have a team there that is dedicated to answering all of your burning questions. So, without further ado, we will get started. Tonight's host, you got me, Andy Zielinski. I am based in North Idaho. I am currently and will forever be running my beloved 95 Land Cruiser, affectionately named Larry. You can see on this blurred photo, I was out on a trail just about a month ago before we started getting a little bit of moisture in the air and kicked up some dust. And yeah, having a grand old time. I am the product marketing manager here, so I get to talk to you guys and educate you guys about the product, as well as tell the world about all the great new features that are coming to life in our product. What we have cooking tonight. So I'm going to do kind of a holistic feature overview, and I'm going to kind of tap a few different key features, and then I'm going to move into how to execute, meaning how to build a plan and how to do the plan using our product. So if there's a question that you might have regarding a feature that I do not cover tonight, again, please drop that question into the Q&A. We got a team there that might be able to answer those questions, but I will do my best to cover as much from a high level as possible. And if you guys stick around to the end, we have a fun giveaway, but you don't get that giveaway if you don't stick around until the end. So with that, let's get started, shall we? Give me a virtual thumbs up if you're ready to get started tonight. Okay, I'm not seeing any thumbs up, but I'm taking that as a yes. Okay, so here we have our web map. So there we go. We got some thumbs up. Thank you. Oh, I should say, as a PSA, you're always told in class, put your phones away, close your laptop, pay attention to what we have, what the teacher is talking about. I encourage you to open up your phone, open up your computer, and follow along. So that will be the best way to orient yourself with how I'm kind of walking through the product. Really quickly, I'm going to switch my screen. So you guys are seeing my web map. That's on my desktop, or on my laptop, I should say. And I'm going to quickly switch over here to my phone. And then I'll give you a quick view of what this looks like. Okay, so just so because I'm not going to spend a ton of time on the phone, I will come back here, but you can see at the lower kind of bar here, you see Discover, Offline Maps, My Content, Tools, Go and Track. That's going to be displayed on my screen on the left-hand side. So just so you guys know, it's the same experience. There's product continuity from the desktop version to the app version. So in case you're like, oh, Andy, where do I find the Discover card that you're talking about? I'm giving you a quick view right now, as well as the activity filter. I'm going to tap that really quickly, and then I'm going to move back to the desktop. So Activity, you'll see the dirt right there. I'm going to tap on that and it pulls up the activities. So this is where I'm going to start from the desktop. If you're on your mobile device and you want to follow along, I would start here and keep that up for now. So let me get back to my desktop view and we will get started. So, as mentioned, I will again kind of reorient. This right here along this side is that nav bar I was talking about. So you got your Discover, offline maps, my content, my garage. I will get into all of this in just a little bit, but let's start from the top. So, activities. Go ahead and tap on the activity. There you will see different types of activities you can choose from. And here we have a really great, easy way for you guys to start selecting what kind of trails that you might want to discover or look at or plan a trip around. So I'm going to kind of zoom in here and then I'm going to select all so you can see the variety that displays on the map. So you see a bunch more trails start highlighting on the map. So from there, I'm going to say, well, I have, as you saw previously, a full-size high clearance 4x4. So I'm going to select high clearance trails because that's what I'm most interested in. And then I'm also going to select full width roads and give myself plenty of options to choose from when I want to go out and begin my adventure planning. Now, the difficulty level, this is something that is really awesome. So as you can see, there's a few different colored squiggly lines, AKA trails, and you might hear me refer to these as guided trails because these trails have been ran by these hired hands that we call trail guides. I'll get more into that in a little bit, but you can select what kind of trail difficulty you are after. So if you're after something that's easy or moderate for an afternoon rip and you really just want to be able to go out and enjoy some scenery, that is probably your best bet. If you're looking for some more rock crawling, some rock gardens, some slick rock, some really technical steep terrain, you might want to select difficult or extreme. I'm, for the sake of this demonstration, going to select moderate. So I see right down here in Clearwater, there's a really great trail that I'm going to run. I'm going to go ahead and tap on this. So I'm going to pause here on the trail card. I'm going to move over to my blue squiggly line here, and I am going to go ahead and tap on this. So, as you can recall, I just talked about trail guides, how this data and trail information is being sourced. We're getting them from our trail guides and along with multiple other inputs, but the guided trails are a really, really great distinctive feature that we have to offer in our product. And so Lolo Motorway, aka Forest Road 500. Now I can see what kind of trail it is. It's a point-to-point, or otherwise known as, like, you can go end to end or an out and back depending on the time of day and how long you want to be out on the trail, the accessibility, etc., etc. You can also see the best times to run the trail. This is suggesting summer. I've been out there during late spring and early fall, so take that with a grain of salt. You might know your area better than other folks, but you also might want to take the risk and go out when it's a little gnarly. And then who it was submitted by. So again, if the trail guide has provided their information, which Kim has, then you can see, okay, cool, Kim has submitted this. And this road, kind of clearly, as it's a full width road, the accessibility by vehicle type is all types. So you can run it with your truck, Jeep, your side-by-side, or your moto if you're looking to go out and rip. Now, as you scroll down, this will be available on any guided trail, and I'll show you a few examples of that in just one second. but you're going to get a trail description. So this is really, really helpful when you're in a new area or scouting and trying to just figure out where it is you want to go out and explore. So description, I'm not going to read this to you, but you get the idea. They're kind of giving you a high level view of what you can expect out on the trail. So cool. Love that. And then the trail guides also are encouraged to provide as many photos as possible. So that way you guys get a little bit of context before you go out and commit to running the trail. So you can kind of see what to expect, some sights along the way, and you might even then decide, okay, well, cool, I see a campsite here. I'm going to pause for 1 second because I'm going to show you a really, really great tool that you can use for destination sighting or marking a location such as a potential campsite. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, follow my big red cursor up over here to tools. Again, this will be down in your menu bar on the right-hand side, and I'm going to select add a waypoint. And I'm going to drag that waypoint right there to the campsite. And then you can determine what kind of waypoint icon you want to use. This is great because I tend to load up my map with a whole bunch of waypoints depending on the objective I'm trying to do for either that day or the weekend. And then you can just simply say, okay, well, for this one, I want to camp. Boom, easy enough. And then I want to make sure, oops, I don't want to do that. I want to save that. And then I want to make sure that this guy right here is easy for me to distinguish against any other waypoints. It's going to be for a camp outing. I'm going to mark it green. And now as I zoom back out and I'm ready to build the rest of my plan, I know that that's a spot that I might be able to camp for camp night 1. So you can also name your waypoints. I'm going to name mine camp night 1, save it, and on you go. Now, to get back to the trail, simply tap on that blue squiggly line, the guided trail there. Okay, so a few things to note. Distance, about 94 miles. That sounds like a fun outing. The high and low point, in case you might be worried or concerned about snow or otherwise. The technical rating, this is going to be a bit of a moderate technical rating. So, be prepared. While it says it's accessible by multiple vehicle types, you might want to consider making sure that you have the proper clearance to be able to hit that trail. How we kind of unpack the trail rating system, I'll do this real quickly. The difficulty rating, you might be like, Andy, what the heck does that mean? Well, I'll tell you. So let's go ahead and click on this. We, from our trail guides as well as our internal kind of team here, we do a whole assessment on how we rate the trails to be able to provide you guys as much confidence as possible. And we do not take this job lightly. This is one area where, as trail guides are submitting their trails, this is a heavily critiqued and vetted process. So that way you guys feel the most comfortable trusting the rating as it pertains to the trails and the different type of terrain you might want to go run either that day or that weekend. So as you can see, we have the different categories: easy, moderate, difficult, and extreme. And so if you want to spend any time during your research hours of like, I want to discover a few different trails, spend some time in the difficulty rating, get familiar with that, and then you can zoom back out to different trails and kind of pivot and filter your map accordingly to kind of get a feel for what it is you want to do out on your adventure. Now, before I click out of the low motorway, you can see at the top, so I was down here at the bottom here. I'm going to scroll back up to the top of this card, and you can see that there are no trail reports left on the Lolo motorway trail. There's about 300 plus folks on tonight's call. I am encouraging you. This is one of the most valuable tools that we have in our product. The trail report is a community input for everybody else to see what's happening out there on the trail. So I'm going to kind of give you a quick high level of what adding a trail report looks like. And then I encourage you guys either this weekend or the following weekends as you guys are going out and running the trails, please, please, please add a trail report, especially as we are moving through the seasons from fall into winter. Gates start closing, conditions start deteriorating. So really, really, really important that you guys add trail reports as we try to keep our off-road community safe. So adding a trail report, go ahead and click that button, select the date that you ran that. I'm going to go ahead and say I was out here this morning. Do not tell my boss this. And what time? Let's just say midday, because there was a meeting I was trying to avoid. Again, this is between us. Now, what rig was I running? Big Gus? No, I'm choosing Larry the Land Cruiser because that's my guy. And for the sake of today's example, I'm not going to save this, but for the sake of today's example, because I was not here today, I'm gonna say open, just so you guys can kind of see what this flow looks like. So I'm gonna go ahead, select open, hit next. All right, what was the condition? I'm gonna say it was a little wet and muddy because today we had a little bit of moisture in the air. Gonna select wet and muddy, nothing crazy, but you can also see you can add snow and ice, rough, deteriorated, washboard. Again, this is optional, but I really encourage taking the time to select as you perceive the trail to be, select that so that way it informs the community. How difficult was the trail compared to its rating? Again, this is not going to change the difficulty rating as it's viewed to the public, but if enough reports come in to suggest that maybe this is easier than expected, we might, as an internal team, have our trail data team look at this trail and readjust the rating accordingly, but your input here will not automatically change the rest of the community's view of that trail. So I'm just going to say, as expected, how busy was the trail? Well, most people were working, but I wasn't, so just me. So hit next. Here is where you can add photos. You can add up to 10 photos. So you're snapping photos with your phone, drag and drop those guys up there, add a description. Maybe you saw Bigfoot out there. If so, cool. Drop a waypoint. That'd be cool. And then final thing, hit submit, and then you're off to the races. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go back. I'm going to go back. I'm going to quickly show you temporary closed because this also happens a lot, as you guys might expect, during the in-between or shoulder seasons of the off-road season. So temporary closed, select date, today. I'm just going to go through this real quickly. And then Larry, temporarily closed. All right. Now, here is where it kind of is important to kind of just make sure that you're giving as much information as possible. Was it seasonal closure? Was it a posted sign? Was it fire danger? We've had a late fire season, thankfully not a ton, but late fire season. Maybe there's trail restoration. Again, all of this helps the community to know what is happening out on that trail. Make sense? Cool. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move us along. I'm going to discard this because I was not out there and I don't want to submit a false report. I am going to zoom out really quickly. I'm going to clear this Lolo motorway card. I'm going to zoom out really quickly. I'm going to go back to my filters up here and I'm going to select easy because I also want you guys to see a bunch of other trails as I start to put together a plan. Okay, so I've reset this. Before I go into planning mode, I am curious. I'm just a curious guy. I want to know what's around me. So I'm going to come over here to this Discover button, okay? And here at the Discover button, you're going to see trails pop up that's around 100 miles away from you. So I like to go out. I really don't like to run the same trail twice. I will a lot of times if I'm like short on time or there's sort of like, I just want to go camp at the same place. But I get bored easily. So the Discover card is a really helpful tool for you to find out what's around your region within a 100-mile radius. But let's just say maybe I want to go down to Sedona and I'm just going to Sedona. Come on, where are you at? Here we go. Let's just go down here. So I'm gonna zoom out, hit Discover, and now I can see with the Discover card, I'm doing a road trip down to Arizona, Flagstaff, Sedona region. Hit the Discover card. I may not be super familiar with that area, but this will now help me find some trails in a new area that will then kind of help begin orient my trip adventure planning process. But I'm going to go back up to my neck of the woods to Idaho. Here we go. And I'm going to zoom in here, back out of here, and let's start building a plan, shall we? So let's go right over to this Moon Pass and right off Highway 90. Now, I'm going to kind of walk through a couple more features here that are really important to the planning process. Number one, I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to find a couple different activities that I might want to try to do. Hiawatha Rail Trailhead. Okay, so I'm taking my kids out. Maybe I want to go for a bike ride. Maybe I want to go out for a mountain bike ride or a hike. So again, I'm going to add a waypoint here. I am just going to select bike. I'm going to drop this guy right here. Great. And now that seems fun. And then I'm going to want to camp further down the trail, right? Well, where'd that go? I think I might have changed this guy. Yeah, that's what happened. So I want this guy to be bike, and then I'm going to save this. So make sure you save your individual waypoints. Biking with the fam. All right, save. And then I want to add another waypoint right here, drag this guy right here to the campsite, and this will be camp, I'm going to say camp night 2 because I already have camp night 1, and that might be confusing to me. I'm easily confused. Okay, so go ahead and save that. Now, that seems pretty cool. I got a good understanding of the trail. Let's just go ahead and click on the trail one more time. Moon Pass. Again, there's no trail reports. Okay, well, this would be really helpful if I was trying to plan a trip, but there are no trail reports. The total distance is 20 miles. Cool. It's easy. Let's see what someone has to say about it. This route takes you along North Fork the St. Joe, right on. This seems like it's a perfect outing for the family and a fun little camp outing. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out because this seems like something that I want to get into this weekend. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is a very, very critical part of the planning process, especially up here in North Idaho. We lose cell signal pretty much like 5 miles off the pavement. It's crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select offline map, okay, right here. And I'm going to select this orange button down here, new offline map. because I want to make sure that where I am going to explore is nice and covered in my zone. So a couple things to note here. You can choose the satellite imagery detail. If you're curious what that means, let's go ahead and click on this. Satellite imagery detail and the zoom level. So as you can see with these icons and descriptions down below, depending on what you select is going to give you the resolution that you get while you are outside of cell range. So what's really important here is determining, do you want a larger area of the map and you don't really care how detailed it gets? The further in you zoom, like if you're on your phone and you pinch and zoom, you pinch and zoom, you pinch and zoom, you really want to get to a specific part of that trail. Low resolution may not be the best option for you because depending on where that point is on that trail, it might get super pixelated. It might just not come through really, really crisp. But if you're not worried about that and it's just more of an open area, you're kind of just wanting to make sure you keep yourself safe, low resolution is just fine. And it has plenty of contrast for you. Medium and high, you get the point. It will show you the different types of elements that you'll be able to see at the zoom level. For the sake of today, I'm simply just going to say medium because medium has always served me just fine. I'm going to go ahead and name my offline map. Um, Outing with the fam. Okay, cool. And I'm just going to go ahead and save this. Okay, now this is really, really important to know. I am building this offline map on my desktop with plugged right into my Wi-Fi. My router is right below me. So this is as strong as Wi-Fi signal as you're possibly going to get. Now, if you're doing this at a coffee shop, if you're doing this at a trailhead or at a pub, chances are you may not have as strong a cell signal. Or if you're on your phone, this may not be as seamless as it is right here in this experience. A couple things to note before I'm going to quickly switch over to my phone view is this map, offline map, was created and saved and will automatically save to my mobile device. So you don't have to duplicate the map. If you've built your map on desktop, you don't have to duplicate that on your phone. Okay, I got it. Now, let me show you this process really quickly on the phone because this is really important. Okay, so let's just say I am out here. I'm not going to try to reload the same spot for the sake of time, but I'm going to go ahead, tap offline map, new map. All right. I'm going to select that area, medium resolution. Just going to save that for now for sake of time. Now you can see the green, you can see the green check mark, and you can see the map download happening in real time. What I like to say to everyone, and myself included, is green means good to go. If you don't see green and you see a candy cane, a red and white colored outline or square, that means that that map has not been fully downloaded. So well, I won't do this right now, but oh, here we go. Here's a map that did not fully download. That candy cane, this one is, so if I tap this one, that's going to pull up. This map needs to be re-downloaded. It may not have ever finished the download process. I got a little hasty. So if that is you and you're finding yourself like with a candy cane perimeter on a map, you're like, oh crap, I need to update this. What do I do? Simply tap that down arrow and that's going to restart the offline download map. Now you got the green check. Everyone say it with me. Green means good to go. Good job, class. Okay, let's get back to the desktop. Now, let's go ahead, kind of fast forward a few steps here. So we have a couple waypoints. We have an activity we're going to do. We have where we're going to camp. Let's kind of put this all together into how do we finally like finish this plan so we can go do this plan? Well, let's start by building a route. So I'm going to go up here to the tools, again, lower right hand on your mobile device, build route. And this is such a great feature. This is one where you can start from your house or you can start from kind of the entry point into the off-road experience. I'm going to, or AKA, I should clarify, from pavement to trail. So let's go ahead and just start from kind of like 90. Nope. See that build route. Let's try that again. Right here. I'm gonna start there. And now you can see that red squiggly line. It's following my cursor to spot number one. Oh, come on. If it jumps for you like that, go ahead and drop one mark because it's trying to identify a fastest known route, but that's not necessarily true in that case. I'm gonna go ahead and click spot number two, and let's just call that good for now. So I've got a route, it's clicked along the trail. Now I'm gonna name that route outing with fam. October, spooky season. Because it's spooky season. Why not? Okay. And then route color. For me, I like to keep my the route color as visible as possible because I have my Land Cruiser. I do not have an in-dash unit. I'm navigating with this little guy, the phone on my RAM mount. It works just fine for me, but in order for me to see that route while I'm following it down the trail, I want it to be as visible as possible. So I like red. Red's easy for my eyes to see. You can change the style accordingly. It can either be a solid line, a dotted line, a dashed line. But keep in mind, you're building this route more often than not on an already guided trail. So you can see this route is sitting on top of a green squiggly line already. So I want some distinction because my route might deviate from the guided trail. It might stop before the guided trail ends. So I'm going to select something that is visually distinctive from the trail beneath it. And then you can select weight. And then, all right, I'm going to go ahead and save this. Cool. Now, one thing that is going to help all of this come together is adding to a folder. So before I get to add to a folder, I want to back out of here to my content real quickly. So you'll go ahead, tap my content, and here you can see all of the different folders that either you've created. So I've made a whole lot of folders here, as you can see. Or if you haven't made one, you can create a new one. So let's go ahead and create a new folder because this is one of the most critical elements of the trip planning process, especially if you're going out with a group. So let's just say family outing plus because I might be inviting some friends and family with us on this guy. So family outing plus I'm gonna go back to the mic. Actually, I'm just gonna go ahead and click this route right here. Okay. I click this route, outing with the fam, October, spooky season. Now down here, you're gonna see the option to add to folder. Go ahead, add to folder. Wait, I don't want to do that. What's it doing? Okay, let's just go back to my content and let's go to add content. Okay, so I'm gonna back out of this real quickly because I flew through that. For some reason, it was giving me the wrong prompt. I'm gonna go back to my content here. I'm gonna select my newly created folder, Family Outing Plus. Click on that. Says the folder's empty, but let's change that. So I'm going to add content down here at the bottom button. I'm going to select routes. And then this is going to give you the routes as you've created chronologically. So I'm going to go ahead and select outing with the fam, October spooky season, and done. Next up, I want to add my waypoints. So family outing, add content. I'm going to go to the waypoints, camp night 2, biking with fam, and let's just pretend for the sake of the story, camp night 1 is a part of this as well. It's not, but let's just pretend. And I go ahead, hit done. Awesome. Now, my family outing plus has a few waypoints, a route that I've built, and in the case that you might have gone out and pre-scouted this and you've hit this, if you've gone out and recorded a track, I'll show you really quickly. I know I'm bouncing around a little bit, but I just want to show you guys all the fun features. You can record a track down here in the lower right-hand menu that says Going Track, and then it will pull up record a track. That's how, if you're out on the trail and you want to kind of record your outing, you hit record, it will use the GPS signal, pull that down, and create a breadcrumb of the track that you've made. That you can save that track back to your My Content folder. Boom, you've added that to your content as well. Now, one last element before we put a wrap on this guy. Let's go back to the desktop. And now we're in a mode of, all right, we are ready to get ripping and rolling. Let's go ahead and share to our friends and family. Now, hit share. Now you can do a couple of things. You can you can share via contribute or view only. It depends on what kind of controls and settings you want to provide. You can go ahead, I'm going to hit view only so no one screws up the master plans. Hit save, and then you copy that link and you can send that link via text, SMS, email, however you wish. Now you've shared your plans with your buddies. To put a bow on it, you've built a route, you've added waypoints, you have put all of these into a folder, you've shared that folder with that crew, and now you are getting ready to have an incredible adventure with your family, friends, or whoever. Couple last things before we get to what everyone's waiting for. I can see it in the chat, but I do want to share base maps. If you want to play around with the map and have some fun, 3D maps is probably, and this is kind of like a death trap to do on a Zoom call and share. And it doesn't matter. It's not an onX thing. It's just a Zoom thing. But I love our 3D maps. Play around with 3D. It is an incredible tool to be able to see the topography, the landscape from a different view. This is in your base map. If you are curious about satellite imagery, you do need to be an elite member, and that's a really, really valuable tool, especially as we go into snow season. So this will show you the weather from 2 weeks prior, and it'll start to show you how the snowfall has either accumulated or the snow level has risen depending on when you are at or where you are at in the season. And then one last thing, because I would be not doing my job if I don't show you one of the most pivotal elements that onX Offroad has been built on, and that is going back. Sorry, I'm flying through here. Going back to this button up here, the dirt or activity select. You select that, you scroll down, and private land detail. If you are an elite member, you have access to private land information or boundaries. So that way you know where you're able to recreate. In the case that you might be going out and hitting a trail that might be running through someone's private property, you'll want to know. You'll want to know if you can legally pass through there. You'll want to legally know if you can stay the night there. This is a very, very powerful tool, especially for those who love to dispersed camp like myself, which means you are not going to a campsite, hooking up your rig, hanging out with a bunch of loud other folks. There's nothing wrong with that, but I like peace, the quiet. My kids are loud enough. I don't need everyone else's kids. So if you want the dispersed camping kind of benefit or simply not get shot off someone's property, private land, really, really, really valuable. So those two features, private land and the recent satellite imagery, are for our elite members. Everything else that you're seeing here tonight comes in our premium package. So if you're like, Andy, I've not seen X, Y, or Z, chances are you are using our free account or free product, which is fine. It's totally usable, but the power really lies within that premium product, and then just the doors blow open once you hit that elite level. With that said, I'm going to go back to what everyone's been waiting for, and that is the giveaway. Are you guys ready? All right. We have 5 Boonie hats. You do not have to have an account, but you do need to have an account. So a basic free membership is fine. We are giving 5 away. Check your emails tomorrow. This will close at midnight tonight. So please go in. Yeah, we've dropped we've dropped that into the chat. So get into the chat. Make sure you click on that. Before you guys hop, please stay on for 1 second. A couple other things coming up. We've got some fun ghost town content coming out. So be checking your emails. If you're curious and you want to take the kids or family or friends out to some spooky trails, look for your emails. Check us out on Instagram, on YouTube. We've got some fun things cooking that are very spooky because 'tis the season. Thanks for tuning in. I want to let you guys know this will be on YouTube tomorrow, along with a bunch of other educational content. But we also have a ton of fun content coming out. The finale to the build series is coming up here soon. And then we have some big stuff cooking for 2025. So make sure to, I don't know what the kids say, like, hit the bell, ding, 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 like subscribe, do all of that stuff. Okay. Otherwise, we will see you out on the trails. Thank you, and happy spooky